Where did Armando go?
Yeah, he said he will be back in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the Way to the Game, everybody.
You?
We have some crazy news. Besides the crazy news, I mean, we're obviously going to be talking about competitions. Uh, some people, well, I would say more than some, really, really don't like the way the competitions are. And I'm really on the fence about it. Uh, Once I've learned to adapt a little bit as far as what the game is kind of forcing us to be as fishermen, um, you know, my placements have improved. On the ones that I can compete in, let's not forget that. In the ones that I can actually compete in, uh, I've been doing better by practicing. Um, I think, one of the main issues is uh, all of us veteran players, got used to a certain way of doing things, and when they went and flipped it up on us, obviously we were kind of being sticks in the mud. Um, and nobody likes to change, so it's not necessarily our fault per se. Um, but it has taken a little adaptation on my part to really place well in the tournaments. Um, and there's some exploits, I would call them, that I've found out um, through other top placing members, and we might talk about those because it's when I say exploit, I feel like it's an exploit from a competitive standpoint, but it's really just how the game works. So it's not necessarily an exploit. It's sort of like saying, you know, doing a certain combination of buttons, presents a move that's better than not doing that combination of buttons. It's sort of like that. Um, I'm really not happy with the fact that they haven't rotated the schedules yet. Um, but
Yep.
from talking to Alex, that's like number one priority. Like they know that they need to rotate the schedule of the competitions and that they need to switch up the competitions as far as giving us more selection because, catching crappie might be your thing, but it's not Trizit's thing. And it's not my thing. Uh, so I think, getting that uh, more variety in the game is just, it's better for everyone. Um, and I think we're going to be talking about tournaments today, not competitions, but actually tournaments. Um, Casting through trees isn't an exploit. Um,
That's
yeah, it technically isn't an exploit. Uh,
be right back, quick. Sorry, gotta
okay.
take a phone call.
Um, but
Hey, hello guys.
hey, what's going on?
Here,
Can
finally.
can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Yeah, we was just giving a brief introduction and what we're going to be talking about today, Alex. So yeah, thank everybody for joining us, and we're talking about the last patch. We haven't spoke to everyone since the last patch, as far as how people feel about competitions and some of the more obvious problems of rotating schedules and adding more variety for for other fishermen and time selections for other fishermen around the world who are missing 2 or 3 or 4 tournaments every day because they're asleep essentially. Um, and so yeah, that's what we were talking about before you joined us.
Well, in this regard, I can only say that we've processed some today about the progress in particular this particular issue, and next week and late next week we'll be releasing the so-called dynamic competition schedule, which will essentially allow us to tailor the competitions specifically to time zones, make it more usable, more easy to figure, and basically, uh, you know, deal with the issue when some people just can't play specific competitions. They will rotate at the best possible time for each player in his time zone. The other thing is, next week we'll be adding some more competitions with new conditions, with the conditions that the ones that account to the level access with the tackle, which this is the feature we've implemented, and we'll be releasing competitions with these conditions as well. Next, basically, won't there will be competitions in which you will use tackle level 5 higher. So basically, no matter which level you are, you'll be beating in same environment.
Yeah, that sounds super exciting. The rotation of the tournament schedule has definitely been the largest complaint. So the fact that you guys are addressing that and adding, different more variety is really going to spice things up moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the competition sets we've released, a week ago. There have been just test competitions. We just really wanted, to get the basic info if everything is fine. Starting with this info, we'll now diversify the competitions themselves and tune the stuff in an appropriate way.
Yeah, so some of the concerns that we've had, Alex, is anglers having some major issues, and you and I have talked about this, but I've talked about it with whale even more extensively, as far as transitioning from normal fishing to competition fishing. And the thing that I think a lot of people miss, I think the majority of people miss, is the changes, the fluctuations in the weather patterns that they're not paying, extensive attention to, as far as the direction of the wind or the actual temperature of the air, is throwing them off as far as getting their fishing done. There was after the initial patch an extreme situation where there were anglers who were literally unable to catch any fish, which I know Whale had addressed. But it still seems, from what I've gathered in the public, that there's still this ability to not catch any fish when you go into a tournament, even though the situation that you were just practicing for was the same in normal fishing. You want to speak on that?
Well, second this issues in several ones. First issue was when we had the fish activity uh, like go away, disappear. This was connected to adding diversified weather conditions and weather mechanics, and this had a bug when we had weather generated, which was not in fact a weather. It was just like a blank without any fish activity. So fish was like lost without any AI commands what to do, how to behave. And these periods of time, like 15 to 30 minutes in real time, happened, and we've covered that stuff. Basically, this should not happen again. In terms of the changes of weather conditions, which are not that visible, yeah, we lack proper tutorials, and this is what we know, and all of you and us suffer from. Thing is that we've added different weather conditions to same visual weathers. I mean, as I've told you previously, we can have the same sunny weather with 5, 6, or 7, or maybe more uh, uh, like options or variables of pressure, temperature, and wind direction. And basically, each type of weather, whether it is cloudy weather or sunny weather, it has now subdivisions like 7 to 8, 9, 10 sub weathers which affect fish AI and fish behavior.
Right.
We do not properly translate this into pictures. We not properly show this information. Yeah, this is a big issue which we'll be addressing as soon as we've done with the most priority task we have now, and we will talk about them a bit later. But yeah, we know that we want to make proper, not even tutorials, but questorials, call them properly. These are tutorials with built-in quests and vice versa as well. This is what we want to do in coming months, really.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Being able to display the information to the player that things are not as they seem has been a challenge so far. But it sounds great that you guys are understanding that, because I think a lot of players were under the assumption that you guys were just like, nope, it's the same. It's the same, and you're just missing it. But really, what you're saying is it's not being displayed to the player properly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not being displayed properly in any way. We've got a very primitive tutorial. We've got very primitive, like this. Even those slides which displayed the new mechanics we had, they're very primitive. We know that, and we are going to change that quite soon. So as soon as we've done with the tournaments, the most priority things we need to kind of finalize the basics of the game itself, we can start describing it in tutorials stuff. So in terms of the issues which you've noticed, that in competitions there's sometimes this lack of fish activity happens to some guys. Well, I'd be more than happy if you could send us the reports on these issues. Maybe these are the situations when people just don't understand that the conditions have changed and the AI has changed. But maybe there are still some bugs which should not be significant, as we've gone through all the code and through all the issues. We seem to have cleaned all the significant issues. But we'll be very grateful if you send us any feedback on the issues you mentioned.
Well,
we'll research it.
Right after speaking with Whale and after talking with everyone that watches me compete, I've noticed myself having to adapt in the tournaments and doing better because I'm understanding what's going on. Even though it's not being displayed, I'm picking up the fact that the fish are not biting. They're not reacting to what I'm using. So in this case, I must change some or many variables to get them to react the way I want them to. And I think just a lot of fishermen are very much missing that, not to their own fault. Just like you said, it's just not being displayed. So that's really good that it's being. You guys are working on that, because I think that is one of the major issues with competing in tournaments right now. Another issue, Alex, that I don't know has been reported much is actually competing in the tournaments. Whoa, that was crazy. Competing in the tournaments the way people. Shit. Okay, I did turn you down a little bit. That horn was crazy.
Yeah.
So competing in the tournaments the way people want to, which is basically back to back to back, a lot of people are going broke, Alex. So one of the things that I guess people were saying was maybe there should be a reduced cost for just going to the place and competing in the tournament, not going there to fish. As of right now, you have to go to the destination, which costs money, then enter the tournament, which doesn't cost money right now, but will in the future. Is there any plans to maybe reduce the cost of traveling for tournaments exclusively?
Well, it's subject to analysis of statistics.
Okay.
So, we have this data now, but I've I'll write this down and I'll try to say about that.
Yeah, another thing that was brought up in discussion that I don't know if you guys had thought about was an actual fluctuating prize pool. So right now, the prize pools that you guys have are structured, but what the players had mentioned to me, which I thought was a great idea because it's something that we do here at the Cave when we have tournaments, is a fluctuating prize pool or additional bonus prize pool to the tournament depending on the number of entrants. So if you have more entrants, then the prize pool not necessarily can be super inflated to 1 through 10, but maybe trickle down farther, maybe to if like 800 people compete in one competition, maybe the top 80 can get a payout, even if it's just the cost. 80th place is just the cost of the tournament itself, a little bit of a more reward because you're competing against so many people. It just kind of makes sense. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good idea. Basically, we were considering making this happen with the sport tournaments with real money rewards, which we are going to be announcing a bit later today as well. But yeah, absolutely. We've thought about that. We've put a thought about that.
Okay.
And this is a great idea, and it's logical, it's natural, and it should be done like that. Yeah.
Yeah, more competitors means it's harder to get in the top placements over some of the competitions, where there's only 50 or so.
I would like an ability to enter the tournament late, because at the moment you're locked out if you miss it by 1 minute, but there's still two hours to compete in the tournament. It takes 30 minutes. Why can't we enter late?
Oh, you're talking about the apply process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the apply process I kind of understand from a server standpoint, but other than the server standpoint, I don't really understand the apply process. You want to give us some thought behind the thinking with the apply and then enter, Alex?
Well, this is initially this is that idea of making not pressure, but this anxiety in terms of you have to make it a certain time, you have to register and stuff like that. If we're talking, if it's too harsh, we can have some some time lag for that. But basically, what the game design team thinks now is that current mode. It's good to motivate people play competitions, even though they are not online. They're actually to make this thing more dynamic. We need to have some time limits and stuff, which will act in certain time periods with the other people. It's not connected to server issues. It's just connected to activation and to people behavior. But and I'll write down this idea and discuss it when I get additional feedback. But from what I know of what we've discussed is this is to this is meant to activate people, make them choose time, because we had this small pool of competition.
I think this system is completely the opposite. It makes it harder to actually join the competition because it goes on for 2 hours, but if you haven't registered before those 2 hours, you can't join. Even if it would take you 30 minutes to compete, if you logged on 5 minutes too late, you have to wait for the next competition that doesn't start in 3 hours. And
right, what we're talking about is
a lot of people are missing it.
Right, what we're talking about is like an apply. Whoa. What we're talking about is as an application buffer, essentially. So obviously you couldn't apply and compete compete if the tournament had already been going on for an hour. But if it had only been going on for a half an hour, you were just a half an hour late, maybe you could jump in and still catch it. Is that what you're saying, Drizzt?
Yeah.
If I can just try to explain it better, I don't think there should be any limits. I mean there should be a limit to how long the competition is. That can be for 2 hours as it is now. But even if you enter 15 minutes before it ends, why can't you compete for 15 minutes? Does that make sense?
Because
At
the
the
player,
moment,
the player,
have
the
to-
player needs the full amount of time to compete.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I mean, if I choose to enter late, if I know I have 15 minutes left before the competition ends, and I choose to enter that time, why can't I compete for just 15 minutes? But yeah, the main issue is why do you have to register before it begins? Because it's a really big gap to the next one if you miss the registration.
Yeah,
I,
I can
I
understand
guess
that.
yeah, it's two separate questions, I guess. But yeah, if you miss the registration, you have to wait a really long time before the next competition, and I think you're missing a lot of people that want to join a competition but just miss the window.
Well, we'll need to talk about that with the team. Sorry, uh, we'll need to talk about that with the team, but it's not possible. It's not really logical to let people go in the competition if the competition should last for 45 minutes. We've got 15 minutes left. There should be buffer, I suppose, but we need to additionally discuss that. But I'm not sure that this be something that uh,
Well,
too flexible.
well, the second part I can understand. Okay, if it's 30 minutes competition time, you must enter at least 30 minutes before it. But at the moment, you have to enter 2 hours before it. It just feels like a really long time.
Yeah, I think more of an acceptable buffer time is something that needs to be done. Also, now that I think about it, it is very nerve wracking to think about. Oh, did I apply? Did I miss it? Or oh crap! I missed it by 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Because
and then you have to wait 2 hours for the next one.
right. Yeah, I think.
But you don't need to enter 2 hours before it starts. You just need to apply, and then you enter. It starts. You have a message, and you go there where it starts. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
have,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But if I log on 5 minutes after a tournament started, it's 2 or 3 hours until the next tournament starts. That's a
Oh
long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Why can't I enter the one that is going?
yeah. I absolutely understand that there should be such kind of a lag. Well, we'll discuss that with our team. I can promise and say that now, but we'll discuss it with the game designers. Have got your concern and your issue.
Well, another thing,
Yep.
Alex, is like you said, you guys are already working on different time schedules and fluctuating and adding more competitions to the times. So the competitions will be maybe staggered a little bit better, so that there's basically more to do than you could ever do. So that's the idea of this competition schedule. To me, in its final form, is basically there are more competitions that you can apply for than you could ever compete in. So that you, as a player, have to pick and choose which ones best suit you, and the most fun for you, so that you don't have to worry about this application process so much, because there isn't going to be a 2-hour gap in between each tournament.
Well, yeah. First of all, we need to. There's a lack of understanding, lack of us describing the whole thing, the whole issue. Thing is that basically the competitions are not the most frequent multiplayer activity we can produce. They are only one of these activities. What I'm trying to say is that there will be such an activity as challenges, which will appear and will be generated a lot more frequently than competitions. And competitions are just a second layer, which we've introduced to be the first one, because we need to get things sorted out with tournaments, and because we had the obligations in terms of ICAST, our participation in this event. So challenges which will be the most accessible, the most frequent event in the game, will happen a lot more frequently. So there will not be this. This is maybe the gap of understanding, the lack of understanding which we have now, because the competitions are the only basically multiplayer activity we have now. But you should not perceive it as the only one, as the final one, as the most frequent one. And as soon as we launch challenges, which would be a more natural way to compete, the challenges which you can like announce to your team members or stuff like that, the competitions and the tournaments will become more rare events naturally, and like they have more value, will allow you to win a lot more credits and valuables in the game. This is how we see it. So basically, um, it's a part of the system which, because of it's been introduced only partially, can be perceived in a wrong way, and we're not translating it, we're not explaining it properly.
Yeah. What? Okay. Can we talk about the actual tournaments for a second, Alex? We have some people popping up in chat talking about sort of a matchmaking queue system. Is this what you guys are envisioning as far as tournaments? A more personalized kind of, you queue for a tournament. When the tournament has 32 people in it, it pops. All those 32 people are told to go wherever, do whatever, and compete. And then another queue of 32 fills up? Or how do you guys plan on doing tournaments?
Yeah, these will be competitions. Basically, the things you explain will be, we see not competitions but challenges. This will be more like challenges, frequent activity. But the tournaments themselves are going to be big events.
Oh, bigger.
Because yeah, of course,
Okay.
this will be bigger, and they will be more. The real money tournaments will be a lot more happening rarely than the competitions do. And basically, they will have a specific schedule happening, at a specific time and days, because this will let you win really big time prize, and like big time experience and stuff. And the activity you mentioned, the type of activity you mentioned, that you're in line with other guys, waiting to compete and stuff like that. These are gonna be challenges, which
Okay.
we're going to introduce a bit later, because they need online and synchronous multiplayer, basically.
Gotcha. All right, so we're talking about three different things, guys. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we're clear here. So we have challenges, which are going to be very frequent, kind of queue matchmaking type of thing. Then we have the competitions that we have now. Obviously, the schedule is going to be fluctuating in more different competitions. It won't be Groundhog Week. You won't be experiencing the same week over and over again. There will be changes in the week or the days as they go through the week. And then we have tournaments, which are large-scale events. Tons of players are going to be registering, and it's going to be more of maybe a multi-day big thing. So that's what we're talking about.
It's going to be like tournaments with series, with qualification rounds and stuff. These are going to be big events.
Okay, well, we've kind of beat that subject to death. Did you want to share anything else with us, Alex?
Well, yeah, basically, in terms of this particular part, or like other parts of things we're doing, because we can go further. I've posted some, the report today, on status report today on our activities, and basically we're planning and making lots of things. We're going to ICAST show mid-July, where we'll be performing and holding a real money virtual fishing tournament with a bank of $15,000, I suppose. This is the things we've discussed and the amount we are able to allocate. But not only one person will get all this money. We'll have several like winners and stuff like that. And before that, we're gonna have in the beginning of July, we're gonna have the Independence Day Trout Derby, which it may be named a bit different, but basically it will be a tournament with real prizes as well. So this is going to be our first like test like tournament after closed beta, and yeah, so this is our uh, roadmap. We're going to release these things early July, and in the end of July we're going to start basically the closed beta of tournaments themselves, of tournament activity.
Awesome.
Yeah, and next week, as I've told you, we're going to be launching the long-awaited scheduling changes, adding more competitions. But as you've told previously, we need to be conscious that competitions are not going to happen each 5 minutes, and because this is activity made for challenges. This is different game activity, which we'll launch a bit later, but it's coming. It's on the way too. Um, Big news that we're going to ICAST together. I don't know if you already announced that or not.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a couple of times on my main
Yeah.
stream. I
Yeah.
think we talked
So-
about it last time during Way to the Game 2 weeks ago. But yes, ICAST, we will be going together and we will be hosting, like you said, a virtual fishing tournament. And
Yeah.
if we can, all of it will be live streamed.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what we plan on. This is why we will, I'd like to plan with you how things are going to be happening, because we will have 10 finalists in the tournament, which basically will compete in the grand finale. And yeah, we'll need to organize streaming from each one of them, and letting you comment like proper, like proper sport commenter. Um, yeah. So this is what we're looking at in terms of tournaments.
That's
I don't
gonna
know.
be that's gonna be tons of fun. I hope
Yeah, yeah,
I hope everybody joins us for that. I know that even non-fishermen will be watching it for sure.
absolutely. Because we this is our first tournament, but basically in the future we are going to be releasing, like making a whole esports ecosystem for sport fishing. We've been partnering and talking to the ASA about that, to Star Ladder. Maybe the guys who organize big streams for CS:GO, Counter Strike Go, for League of Legends and stuff like that. So basically, they are our good friends, and together we want to make this a big esport thing with thousands and hundreds of thousands of people watching it. And this is why it is crucially important for us to launch avatars, spectator mode, and stuff like that before autumn. We're like working very hard. I hope we will, manage to do that in the mentioned deadline. But basically, this is what we're looking forward to.
Absolutely. And
yeah,
I think the community is I know I'm salivating over it, so I know the community has got to be just as excited as the team that you guys are working together to kind of form this new branch of esports.
This is absolutely new ground for us and for all of us. And you guys who will be first ones, I really hope and I think that you'll become famous. So train as hard as you can.
practice.
And maybe even,
Practice.
Yeah, maybe even reach.
We got a ongoing joke on my stream, Alex. Is just practice, man. You got to practice.
Yeah. So basically, these are all the things I wanted to share. If you have any questions additionally, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to see Lake Fork, and I know that you've been kind of pushing back, showing off Lake Fork as far as screenshots and whatnot go. You want to talk about that?
Well, basically, we really want to show it, but it is very big, and we really need to be, to be sure that the part we show you there, because showing a small part is not hard, but it's not what Lake Fork is about. If we want to show you something really good, we want to show you how we fly over the water, like the whole video of 5-minute flight. and for that we have some additional work to do. Basically, what we are planning now, we have chosen a cove, a specific part of Lake Fork. It is very big. It's bigger than Michigan, I suppose, a lot, even though it's only a part of Lake Fork, and we'll be releasing it as a teaser. Like first before we release the whole Lake Fork. So we'll be. I don't know if it will be July or early August, but we'll be releasing this small part and the whole part a bit later, to get things done, to test properly and stuff like that. But in terms of teasing Lake Fork, I suppose we'll need a week more, and and I'll get you a video that you'll all enjoy, and we'll all be happy to see and evaluate, because I'm really anxious to show it. The pretty much material, but I want this to be on the same level as all the other art and materials we have in Fishing Planet, and we work hard on creating these environments which you really believe in.
Right. That's fine. I definitely would rather see a video 100% than just see a screenshot. And if you're not fully done, fleshing out what it's supposed to look like, then I wouldn't want to see it until it was done.
You ain't gonna get a first impression.
Exactly. So the other thing that we were going to talk about today is actually the title of the show, New Frontiers. So did you want to share some information about the possible new frontiers?
Well, yeah. As soon as we're done, which we've discussed with you yesterday, I suppose. Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as we've done, and it's gonna be quite soon, in a matter of months, with United States, we are looking forward to working with Europe and bottom fishing, as we've previously teased you guys. So this autumn, I suppose, which we plan on, is we're gonna be working with, and basically looking forward to work with European lakes and waterways. And after that, we'll of course, in terms of our grand strategy, in terms of bigger picture, we'll be trying to cover Europe, part of Eurasia, the East European countries, basically. And after that, after we cover that, I suppose we'll be choosing spots in various exotic parts of the world as well, like other ones. And yes, we have another river which is quite big, in production and development already. It's Alaska Region River. I'll share more details next week. Not next week, but in a week after we talk about Lake Fork, and we're happy with that. It's a big waterway, and you'll have 5 new fish species, and like trout and salmon.
That's what I was waiting for you to say, Alex. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure you said it. You said it first before I said it. So yeah, you heard that right, guys. We're talking about Alaska here. That's why the stream title is New Frontiers.
Absolutely.
So I cannot tell you how many. I've never been to Alaska, but I cannot tell you how many fishermen stories I've heard come from Alaska that were so unbelievable and so cool. You couldn't capture the excitement of the fishermen enough. So I think Alaska is going to be really, really cool, and
absolutely.
It makes me super excited to hear this news. So that was the kind of big news that I had told you guys. I had mentioned about it before the show. If you were here in the pregame show, Alaska, guys, super cool.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really pretty, really lots of space. We have lots of photostones and things like that. It's gonna be kingdom of photogrammetry. It's gonna be super real, super cool, and beautiful. A lot of work. I hope you'll we want to make a breathtaking like scene there with the stuff like that with waters,
Yeah,
shallow water.
you're breaking up a little bit, Alex. But what I wanted to tell everybody that you're saying is basically, Alaska is one of your is going to be one of the high capture photographic replications is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of the most had lots and lots of grammetry for the
Yeah,
mountain river stuff. So it will be very very.
yeah, we're getting you cut out about every 2 seconds, Alex. So, we had talked about in 2 or 3 way to the games before. We had talked about Lake Fork and you guys actually flying drones around Lake
Yeah.
Fork. Is that a process that you're thinking about utilizing for Alaska also?
I'm not sure about Alaska because we basically have all the props we have. We need. We've previously we had an expedition in the mountains with similar stone structure. In Ukraine, we have chosen a specific region in the Carpathians, which would correspond visually. So I don't know whether
Okay.
we will do this for Alaska. Basically, we have done this already.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but for Lake Fork, the whole team, a big part of a team is coming to the US, ICAST, and a huge part of the team is going to Everglades, to photogrammetry, have there, be renting a boat and stuff like that. It's gonna be a quest for them.
Am
And
I gonna miss that, Alex, or is that going to be happening at the same time ICAST is?
it's gonna be happening like almost at the same time as ICAST is. So basically, if you're interested, we can arrange that as well. But there are alligators, crocodiles, and stuff like that
Yeah,
out
man.
there. So
Yeah, no, I think because like being able to work with the drones, I think would be really cool just to see how you guys plan on doing that. So we'll have to talk about that later. But that's the photogrammetry, man. That's really really cool. I know you guys have been working with that a long time, and Wales actually shown me a lot of inside photos and screenshots of you guys working on photogrammetry with all these different textures from inanimate objects to humans. So it's really really sharp stuff.
Yeah, and we've started photogrammetering heads, bodies, clothes, and the avatars as real as possible. So it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
And I almost forgot to say that we've been chosen as one of the top 100 games to get the Indie Prize in San Francisco. So basically, right after ICAST, we'll be moving to San Francisco to participate in this event. And maybe if the jury decides, we will win an award. But basically, we're on the short list, and it's quite pleasant to know that.
Well, that's really really awesome
thank you
to
for your
hear.
support.
Yeah. What is there a way we can as users? Is there a way we can actually vote on that when it comes up, or is it jury based?
It is jury based, and I I wait for the final press release about the shortlist guys and stuff like that, because we've received all the emails and all the notifications, but they haven't released it publicly on the website everywhere. So as soon as we have this made in a proper way on their website, I'll post it as well. So for you guys to know that you've helped us a lot create a product that people see, and they can imagine that like 10 people were making this thing happen, and now of course we're bigger. But even to the extent where we brought it, being only 10 of us, and, having a lot many of our team outsourced on you, like our friends and our fans, we couldn't have ever made this without you. So basically, but I hope this will be my speech on when we get a reward.
Absolutely. You need to write that down, Alex. That was good, man.
Yeah,
I got it recorded for you, so no worries, right?
yeah, absolutely. So
Well, that's awesome, man, and
Yeah.
you guys deserve it. Being such the small team that you are, I was actually looking on LinkedIn and looking at some of your guys' bios and stuff, and some of you guys, this is the first game you've ever worked on, and then some of your team
majority.
right, and then some of your team members have worked on games for long time. So it's always a pleasure whether you're brand new to the industry or you've been doing it for a long time to be getting awards.
Yeah, absolutely. Making a thing that people enjoy is the part because having so many people playing, relaxing, sometimes being like mostly relaxing. Something like this happen, involving people emotionally. It's really a big thing. So yeah, just, like we live to do this. Now it's the only thing we think about. So yeah, this is important for us. This award is very very like nice, good esteem for the team.
Well, do we have any questions for myself or Alex, guys?
Well, if we don't, I'll need to leave you soon, guys. Yeah, I will be leaving on the train quite soon. And if you have any additional questions, I'll be able to answer them right now. You can use, as always, we can talk in the community forums. I'll be more than happy to elaborate more questions and things like that. But the most important part, I wanted to say that prepare for tournaments. It's gonna be crazy. This is gonna make true esports. For fishing, for sport fishing, this will be a new digital age, and we are all involved in creating something really new and really cool.
Okay, actually, that's a good one. Maximum just said, are you guys happy with Unity as far as a game engine, or has there been discussions of changing it? That was actually something that we talked about on my show.
We're not planning to change it because this is like it's not just a lot of work. It's insanely
Right.
a lot of work changing and switching to stuff, grading for us. But it has its cons and pros. But for prototyping, for making something fast, considering Unity Asset Store,
Sure.
it's a good engine. It gives you a lot of tools to create stuff. To make some advanced things like advanced graphics, you have to be advanced in terms of your like your knowledge and stuff.
Right.
And Unreal at the same time gives you many things out of the box, but sometimes this is all you get. And with Unity, you can like screw. I mean, not screw, but you can fix, improvise, make the engine do crazy things you would never ever like
Right.
think it can do. But it is buggy. It needs some that need an extra mile are very hard to do. Yeah. So this is like
I got you.
The
So
main problem is it's kind of slow.
what you're saying is you're happy with Unity.
yeah. Well, we're happy with Unity. We'll stay with it. But when you choose an engine to make a project, have this choice either more out of the box graphical stuff or more ability that and risks.
Right. Okay. Well, that's just something that we had brought up. But if you got to go and jump on a train, we'll be letting you go, Alex. And thank you as always for joining us. And
You guys were asking me come here.
yeah, no, absolutely. Sharing the news on Alaska, news on Lake Fork, updates on tournaments. We covered a lot this show, and you and I will be discussing plans on ICAST afterwards. But yeah, thank everybody for joining us as always.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being with you as always, and like we'll be trying to make the game better and more fun.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, have
Thank
a
you for
nice
coming.
guys. Bye.